Welcome back to another episode of the Football Frauds podcast. My name is Miles.
My name is Connor.
And I'm Matt.
We're here to talk the most important division in football. Me and Connor are lifelong Packers fans. Matt's a lifelong Bears fan. We are actually dialed the fuck in this division. This is our specialty. This is what we know.
Football gods.
We're here to talk NFC North. Probably the best division in the NFL.
The black and blue division.
4 teams that all finished above 500 this year with positive point differentials. 4 teams that have legitimate claims. The Vikings have to make a quarterback change to be legit playoff contenders next year. I'm excited.
Me too.
I think this division is really fun. All 4 teams. Like the Lions and the Vikings last year were 14-plus win teams. The Packers and the Bears this year into the playoffs, you thought they could make a run potentially. Like all 4 teams have intrigue. It'll be a fun episode.
Yeah. Is this the best division in football? Because I think it is.
Sorry. The NFC West. Niners, Rams,
the Cardinals.
Seahawks. Yeah, but does the 4th team matter all that much? Because then they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess if you're looking at it in terms of you wanting the most teams that have the best odds to win the Super Bowl, then it's not the NFC North.
Agreed.
But if you're looking at just competitive football,
True. We don't fall off.
yeah. And when you think about it, like those other 3 teams in the NFC West get 2 wins a year.
Yeah, no, the Cardinals are definitely needing to rebuild for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with the Green Bay Packers. Me and Connor's lifelong team. We're all from Wisconsin. We've been cheering this team since day one. They made my favorite moment in the history of, it's not rational considering the Bucs won a championship, but my favorite moment as a sports fan ever was looking at my phone and seeing the Packers had traded for Micah Parsons. It came out of nowhere. I was elated, and it's just so rare as somebody who thinks most deeply about just wanting to be a GM and thinks about the game from the perspective of a GM, to see this team that just clearly needed a game changer on defense and clearly needed somebody who could elevate, because their defense, if they built through the draft, was never going to find a guy who was a clear difference maker, and they're able to get the second best defensive player in the NFL at an incredible value in his prime. It was just this all-encompassing moment that really made me feel so full as a sports fan to see the Packers, who are never aggressive, come together and make a move to truly go all in. That Parsons trade really just made my year, and it's been my favorite moment as a sports fan, and I'm just so happy it happened.
But the best part about it is, even with that trade, it doesn't even feel like they went all in. They just made a smart decision. They didn't overpay to win now. Yeah. It's like, I mean, they gave up real capital, but it's like, if all your draft picks have always been in the 20s, who cares? Give them 2, give them 3. Yeah. It's Micah Parsons.
The Packers are really good at having quality players from later rounds anyways. So you have extra money because you have these quality players that were later round picks. They're still cheap.
Yeah, dude. The only real first round draft pick that did anything was Jordan Love, and it took him 4 years.
True. Yeah, Jordan Morgan, Matthew Golden,
Eric Stokes,
Lucas Van Ness.
Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness. All those guys, they can play football. You don't hate having them exist, but they are not elevating your team over the top, really.
Yeah.
Quay Walker, their interior guy.
Devontae Wyatt was all right,
Wyatt.
but he was their second pick in the first round.
But Micah Parsons is legitimately the second best defensive player in the NFL. I think that's pretty well established.
Yes.
Garrett's in a level of his own.
Yep.
Parsons, minor tier drop off. Crosby,
Aiden Hutchinson. Will Anderson is actually starting to get closer to that
for sure.
Micah Parsons territory.
He's right there.
Yep.
But God, just watching Parsons play this year, I've never enjoyed watching a defense play so much. His explosiveness and his alien-like athletic traits, watching him come off the ball just brings this feeling deep within that just makes me so excited, and I loved it. I love the GM approach, and it's been a blessing.
Yeah, especially because you saw what Hafley could do without him, and you just knew that if they got one more just electric piece, you knew he was going to do something with it, and he wasn't going to waste it.
True.
And that kind of ties into what we're going to talk about this episode with the Packers. So I don't know if you guys have heard yet, but the guy we just talked about as being an incredible defensive coordinator is out the door.
Big.
Womp womp. He is in Miami, living his life on the beach and not in the frozen tundra, and we replaced him with a toilet bowl of a defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon. I hope I'm wrong on that one.
Seems like Matt LaFleur wanted to set the floor. I think the defense is not going to bottom out. But when you're trying to win a Super Bowl and you're current with Jordan Love and Micah Parsons in your core, it seems like you want something with more aspirations. Like, this is going to take us over the top.
Yeah. I think so I wasn't 100% sure or bought in when we talked about it before about how Leonard, what's his first name?
Jim Leonard.
Jim Leonard was the number one candidate.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that, didn't buy it. And the fact that Jonathan Gannon was saying that if they don't offer him, he's going to take a different position.
Interesting.
And they offered him because they didn't want Jim Leonard to potentially not take this job or take a different job.
Yeah, he's on the Bills now. So he's on a contender. You'll get to see if you regret it or not, how good this Bills defense performs.
And essentially that's what I'm hearing now, is that was 100% the case. Jonathan Gannon wasn't our first option, but he was still up there. It's not like he's a bad coordinator. So
Gannon, Cardinals defense and secondary was crippled last year in terms of injuries, things like that. The bet is that they were injured a lot, didn't have the best talent. He does a lot of complex scheme stuff that a lot of nerds like. He runs a lot of complex stuff. He ran a lot of 3 safety stuff for the Cardinals, and the Packers have 2 really good safeties and some alternate nickel guys who can weigh in. The more space from it, I'm trying not to have like short-term bias. I like it, and you just have to trust that LaFleur wants to win a Super Bowl more than anybody. And he truly, in his heart of hearts, is going to take who he thinks gives us the best chance to win a Super Bowl. He's coached against this guy. I like the fact that he's not just a play base, let's just try and win by not doing anything complex. He's going to try and be complex. He's going to try and do stuff to confuse the quarterback. That's enough for me. I think it's not a huge win because obviously the vibes around Gannon right now are atrocious. But I like the bet, and I believe in LaFleur.
I would agree with that. I think it's good that my expectations are very low, because even if he just produces an average to slightly above average defense, I won't be sad.
Yeah.
But that kind of was what happened with the coaching situation. There was a ton of positional coaches that ended up leaving, and so those are things that they had to fill. And they lost John Eric Sullivan.
John Hyphen.
And it seems like the way the Packers are structured, that won't actually affect them that much at all. It's just they have a homegrown pool to play with a pull from. So
yeah. Personnel department, I'm not worried. Sean Mannion, first-year quarterback coach, heads to the Eagles to be their OC. Mm-hmm. More kind of brain drain based on how smart the Eagles are, probably an elite mind in the Packers coaching room. A little bit concerned about that. Let's dive right into the roster.
Yep.
Jordan Love, in my mind, I was concerned about him the first few years. Just watching him on tape, and as I've become more smart about football, I've detached my mind from the mainstream media and talking about his interceptions and not coming through in big games. Just watching him this year and feel like I'm becoming much more smart and well-rounded and kind of self-aware of football. Jordan Love's just fucking good.
Yep.
Yeah. He's just fucking good.
He sees the field.
Yeah.
I agree. He can make every throw. He has prototypical NFL size. He has enough mobility to do anything. He can throw with all the arm angles. He can get away and have a little bit of pocket mobility.
He can be deadly accurate. He can anticipate a guy breaking out of a route and put it right, in the 2-foot gap away from the defender.
And I don't think his arm talent is lacking in any respect. I think he has all the arm talent he could possibly ask for.
So that was the thing. When he got drafted, he was the quarterback for the non-quarterback needy team.
Yep.
Development.
And he didn't have the wherewithal and the mental processing with the competition he had in college. Matt LaFleur knew what he could do throwing the football. He had every attribute he had was that of someone that can be incredibly good in the NFL. There's nothing really holding him back.
Led college football in picks his senior year, and I was like, what the fuck or his last year? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
that is so funny.
Just basic NFL. If you're like, oh, I'm a fan. What the fuck are you doing?
Interceptions sure aren't good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love Love. At running back, Josh Jacobs, the ultimate speed doesn't matter running back, consistently turns out yards after contact. Marshawn Lloyd hurt all year. Emmanuel Wilson good in his role. I feel great about Jacobs moving forward. I feel like that was a great signing. We got him at a good value.
I can see us moving off of Jacobs for younger running back
this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. There's murmurs of it.
I think you save like $8 million.
You save $8 million, but obviously you don't do it just to do it. You have to have a plan. Like the reason why we stepped off of Aaron Jones is because we found someone that's younger and we felt was better long term.
That was a loaded free agent running back class. This upcoming class isn't as great unless they want to bring in like Tyler Algier and hope they can pay him $8 million a year. Mm-hmm. I like Jacobs personally. One really specific note here that I think is going to be a through note for the Packers. They have the youngest roster in the NFL for 2 years straight.
That's how they could afford Micah Parsons. They had a gap in their payroll.
Which I think is a testament to their coaching, that they're able to be at this level of execution and avoid penalties and develop players when they're this young. It's impressive to me, and if you were to just show that stat at the beginning of every game, it would kind of help frame for you who the Packers are in terms of how well they'll be able to execute with the youngest roster in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And kind of throwing into the cap situation, currently they are at they're $1 million over the cap, but some expected things to look for coming up post June. It's pretty. The writing is on the wall that they're either going to cut or restructure Rashawn Gary's contract and just post-June cut Elgton Jenkins. And that's going to open up $40 to $50 million of cap space.
Yeah.
Gutekunst, the GM for the Packers, has been pretty high on Nate Hobbs, a cornerback that they signed last year from the Raiders. I don't know why there was so much hype with this guy coming in that he was going to change our secondary. It seemed like he was just going to be a piece, and he didn't even do that for the Packers.
Yeah, you're selling a story, I guess.
But I think that he's a very good candidate for a post-June first cut, and that's only going to add more space. And so right now you're looking at it, and you're like, there is some issues with the cap, but I think in cutting Elgton Jenkins isn't really going to hurt us too much, because it opens up.
You'll need to pay someone or draft someone to play there.
Money to pay someone else,
but if you save 19.5 on him, or maybe more if it's post June, you can pay another guy 10 and hope you get similar levels of play, because he started to fall off after he got that contract.
And I would, I'd have different feelings on it if
Miles, you want to pay Elgton Jenkins $20 million to keep playing?
I think Elgton Jenkins is really good, and I don't think $20 million is definitely a bit of an overpay. I don't know if they can restructure or rework that deal. I know the specifics of it. I just think that our interior is really questionable right now. We have a lot of young guys who are very injury prone.
Yep.
Jenkins had somewhat of a down year, but he still grades out to be at least a league average center. He's versable, be able to move up the guard and tackle, and we have an intense need at
if you're paying him $20 to play center, that's higher than any center in the league.
But it seems like the general consensus I'm getting from
you can pay Linderbaum that.
Would love that.
Elgton Jenkins seems to know that he has value on the market, and the Packers aren't willing to pay that much for him.
But he already has a contract.
He does already have a contract, but it's pretty clear the Packers don't want to pay him what his contract value is, because his replacement very objectively played better than he did at his position.
Was it Sean Ryan came in and played center? It was close.
Per PFF, Ryan wasn't quite as good. I think Jenkins is generally underrated, but I think when you're talking about the contract, that's very reasonable, and I wouldn't oppose them at all letting him walk. Yeah. Anthony Belton, who they brought in the second round out of the draft, a size traits guy, versatile between guard and tackle, who they liked. Didn't perform great, but was somewhat serviceable. What is a great illustration of how much NFL teams are overvaluing guard and tackle, or not overvaluing, but just like desperate for even like replacement level guard and tackles. They gave Aaron Banks $17 million a year. He finished 55th in PFF grade, but I think that's probably not much worse than what they were expecting. They just needed interior line depth, which is why I think they might be willing to keep Jenkins, because they're so desperate to have versatile offensive line guys, given how common injuries are there for them.
That is the one case that I see with us keeping Jenkins, and you'll hear me preach to the end of time that I am all about position versatility, and he embodies that. I mean, I'm not capable of some of them, but I love all of them.
D tackle. I mean, that's just a lot of pressure.
Oh God. But Elgton Jenkins kind of proved that. I mean, he's played tackle, he's played guard, and he has played center.
And he's bald.
I don't know how you prove anything else. There was some off the field stuff that came up this offseason, but it doesn't seem like it's anything that's going to haunt him long term. But just something to keep in mind is something that the Packers don't like, and it could just be fuel to the fire with them cutting him post June 1st.
The best eye test metric for offensive line is forgetting that a guy is there. And there's no player that I forget is there more than Zach Tom, who got hurt halfway through the season, and then the Packers offensive line took a few steps down.
Yeah.
Zach Tom's phenomenal year in, year out.
Yeah, 6th rounder. He's
great on the edge, 6th rounder. Once he got hurt, their offensive line took a real step back.
Mm-hmm.
Another story for the Packers is if they can stay healthy this year, if they were as healthy as the Seahawks or the Rams or any teams at the top of the NFC, I believe that their talent and coaching quotient is just as high as any of those teams. It's just if they can stay healthy. If they had Zach Tom, Tucker Kraft, and Micah Parsons, I have no question they have the talent to keep up with those guys.
Those injuries made a big blow. I think they could have been a real threat going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the Seahawks were fully healthy. If the Packers are fully healthy, I think those teams could have a real game.
And so we just talked about the primary positional needs, and offensive line is definitely one of them. A lot of people like to talk about getting another edge defender in the secondary, but
I like your guys' edge group: Van Ness, Parsons, and
Gary.
Well, it depends what to do with Gary.
But
if you get rid of Gary, you have more money to sign someone else.
And again, I'm not talking that it's a valid argument. I am big on Lucas Van Ness. He's been hurt every year he's been in the league. And
he's not like a sack guy. He's really strong.
Run defender. He's a run defender.
He can play all downs.
Was he worth the draft pick?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
But Will McDonald went right next to him.
Yeah.
Can't defend the run for shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Great point.
Like there's not even in that draft. Like there's not perfect players.
Christian Gonzalez went later than him.
Quick comment. Every first round, it's like, you know what? I have 12 first rounders in this draft. It's like, how do you quantify what a first rounder is if there's only 12 in every,
Exactly. Or you could just say.
You find these imperfect
Zach
players.
Tom was a first round value.
He was a sixer. Yeah. I had Zach Tom as a first rounder.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, but.
Probably outgoing free agent Rasheed Walker, big talker, not a locker room guy. I have a strong feeling he'll be out given they've invested so much at tackle and first rounder Jordan Morgan in 2024. He was solid for them. Their offensive line, not perfect. I have a feeling they're going to end up reaching for a guard tackle hybrid guy in the second or third round. It's just kind of what they do. But I criticized that Gutekunst move in the draft because I was like, what are you doing? We like Anthony Belton in the second round. There's all these pretty good talents that are sitting around that age. They passed on Mike Green.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing? I mean, we didn't have Parsons at that point. And I was like, what? I mean, off the field stuff. But they have a track record of just putting together competent offensive lines. Their offensive line grades are not great, but the Packers were 6th in pass block win rate last season, which is awesome considering their talent, and 19th in run block win rate. Very solid. Yeah. Couldn't ask for much more, and it's just a testament to LaFleur's scheming.
The scheme.
Yeah. And it's crazy because if you aren't aware, the Packers have a really weird draft board and how they evaluate players.
Yep.
And
they're sizist.
It's not like if you're small or you're light, you move down the board. It's just that you're off the board.
Yeah.
Like they won't take you.
No.
Which is it's crazy to me. And it's like
they like them big, Everyone's got their preferences.
If you're an offensive lineman and you're not versatile, we're not taking you. Mm-hmm. It's honestly it's so weird to me, but it seems to be working. So I will complain all I want that they don't grade high, they have mediocre seasons, but they play as a unit.
I'll be curious. Like the philosophy, I think is fine, but I think other aspects of the Packers organization have taken that philosophy beyond what it does itself. I'll be curious if John Eric Sullivan in Miami, if they do a similar thing, if it continues to find success there, because it feels like I look at the Packers draft and it's like there's just as much hit or miss as other teams. I just think Matt LaFleur helps elevate stuff.
And outside of offensive line, I think the secondary is by far their need. Yeah. And it's been the need that everyone's been saying.
A lot of guys that are fine. Yeah. There's no like this guy's terrible out there.
Yeah.
Valentine, Hobbs, Nixon, they are NFL starting defensive backs.
But the problem lies is that they don't match up well with who the Packers are asking them to match up with. There's no reason why Carrington Valentine should be guarding Jamar Chase.
Well, who do you put on Chase? Nixon?
No. You run zone. You don't put anyone on Chase.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like these guys aren't bad. They look bad because of the situations they're being put in.
Interesting.
Their wide receiver room, I just look at it longer and longer, and I'm like, this is fucking. I mean, the Packers roster in general is just kind of just a masterclass in building with the assets that you have. I think Golden was a pick for this year. Despite his bad production, only one touchdown in that playoff game the whole year, Golden was 44th in PFF grade, and the eye
decent
test,
route running.
The eye test matches that for me. I actually think he's really good.
Yes, but it's the
really
percentage
good.
of snaps. And
He's good. He's played
good.
well. He can run routes pretty well.
And I kind of had the feeling when he got drafted that it wasn't we're taking this guy in the first round and he's going to come out and be an immediate stud for us. I think they drafted him and knew that this was a contingency plan for the future to make us not desperate when we have to end up paying people.
He's 22. And I think in an offense where they focal point guys more, he might have been great in fantasy, and people would talk about him as being really good. I don't think he's really good as in, like, he's going to be a wide receiver one difference maker, get open every time on third down.
Yeah.
He's our best route runner, and he's excellent down the field at tracking the ball.
Now that if Dobbs leaves.
I wouldn't say he's the best route runner, but he fits right in. The thing is, Matt LaFleur does such a good job of playing to his players' strengths. And Matthew Golden has strengths. I wouldn't say he's the best route runner. I still think Wicks has the best route running ability, and Wicks gets on the field because he run blocks. Matthew Golden is a rookie, didn't run block very well. He's not a big guy.
Factual bad run blocker.
But when he got on the field, he played to his strengths, and Matt LaFleur knew what that was. And if Matthew Golden can get his run blocking down, I see him having a really bright future, especially with Matt LaFleur. Is he going to be a showstopper? No, because no one is in Matt LaFleur's offense.
Unless you're Devontae Adams, and he's certainly not Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Golden, to me, just has the tools and burst of a guy who profiles to be a very good NFL receiver. I believe in him down the road. Dobbs probably going to be on the way out, given they probably can't afford him. They just gave a 1-year, $15 million extension to Christian Watson. I was a Christian Watson hater up to this year.
Yeah.
Connor said that he was good. He said that he was good at catching the ball. Up to this year.
And he spread the field. He had the defense honest.
Wheels.
I believe that he spread the field, but this year he went up a level in my mind and came up a level after the ACL injury. I thought he was phenomenal, not just down the field, but on crossers. I thought his route running improved. I thought his catching improved dramatically.
He had real bursts in all areas of the field.
He got faster after his ACL surgery, and I was just super impressed. I think Watson is legit, not a legit like showstopper wide receiver one, but like a bottom tier wide receiver one legit. We can put this guy on the field 3 downs.
Well, that was the crazy part is everyone was talking about how Matthew Golden was the fastest guy in the draft and how he's going to be the burner for the Packers. And everyone, all the beat writers in OTAs were saying Christian Watson's running on the sideline right now, and there's no doubt in my mind he's faster than everyone in this whole entire building.
He's a beast. As a Bears fan, when we played against you guys, I was scared of Watson.
Yeah.
What he could do to our injured DBs.
I think that is the number one metric to me in my mind is when you're watching a game as the opposing fan, who are you scared of? And it was very clear throughout the whole year that you should be scared of Watson.
Like I thought Dobbs could, he could run around and get a 17-yard gain, hit the sideline, toe tap, whatever. I didn't think he could break the game open.
But honestly, the craziest part about this, Christian Watson was taken, I believe it was the first or second pick in the second round.
Yeah, like pick 33. Yep.
The Packers wanted to trade in the first round to take him. And so when you're viewing him as, he was a second round pick.
Yeah.
But the Packers clearly viewed him as a first-round talent, one of the best players.
Yeah, but late first, early second, how different is
that? But it's a real thing.
They didn't get that 5th-year option, but it didn't end up mattering because they got him on an injury discount in this 1-year, $15 million extension.
Yeah. And that leads into something I wanted to say. With the Packers cap space, if they're able to get Rashawn Gary's contract off and Elton Jenkins' contract off, I wouldn't be surprised if they extend Christian Watson this year. Not even mess around with free agency.
I'd love if they kept Dobbs. I think Dobbs is legit very good.
But you can't play. Yeah. You can't play Wicks and Reed and Golden and Dobbs and Watson
and Williams. And their third-round pick, Savion Williams.
Savion Williams, is he going to keep seeing the field too much? I don't know.
But you use a third-round pick on him. They have a plan for it.
I get, but he was like a pick 100, like later.
Yeah, he was a third-round pick.
Those guys disappear in a year or two pretty often.
I'm personally not that high on Wicks. Not a believer. I think he's just like a flashy run TikTok guy.
You don't hate having him there.
My point with Wicks is that's why I believe in Dobbs because I don't think Wicks is a future piece. I get the Wicks stuff, but that's fine. Yeah. Reed, once again, didn't produce last year. Could be our second best receiver, definitely behind Watson. Their receiver depth overall is, I think, very good.
Yeah, and for the sake of time, the last thing I want to talk about is the linebacker position, we're probably going to let Quay Walker walk, and that leaves us with pretty much just Edgerrin Cooper. And I don't know if we can do an Isaiah McDuffie, Edgerrin Cooper scheme, and so we're going to have to figure out something. Tyron Hopper, I loved when we drafted him. I believe he was a 3rd-round pick, maybe a 4th-round pick, coming out of Missouri. And a very top-heavy guy, kind of a Mr. Incredibles build. He wasn't that fast. He was just muscular. But there was something, and I think he was graded at like a 6th-round pick, and the Packers just reached on him in typical Packers fashion. But
great size.
Anytime he touches the field and in preseason, he's always like, oh, Tyron Hopper, one of the highest rated Packers in the preseason and stuff like that. I think there's potential there. I think them letting Quay Walker leave in free agency, I think Tyron Hopper is playing a huge role in that.
Quay Walker's been trending down for a while, too.
Yeah.
Not a field changer.
I thought he was good this upcoming season. I thought he's got better year after year, and I would like to keep him. But Cooper is so good where he kind of eliminates the difference.
I think Quay can play the run okay, but I don't think he's cerebral, cutting off passing lanes, reading the offense before it happens at all.
Well, certainly. He complements Cooper really well, I feel like.
Quay's the type of linebacker that when you see him make a play, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then he disappears the rest of the game.
You see him like 4 times a game.
Because he's high. Like, wow. I think he's really high effort.
Yeah.
But
I have Edgerrin Cooper jersey. Cooper's one of my favorite players in the NFL to watch. He's fucking explosive through run gaps, elite in pass pro. McKinney's awesome. Evan Williams, super underrated, awesome. Nixon, 38th in PFF grade. I thought he made a huge jump this year, especially the first 3 games of the season. He was breaking up passes game after game after game.
Yes.
Fell off down towards the end of the season. Matt, what was Lucas Van Ness's PFF grade this year?
I think it was around like 72, 73. A lot of Packers fans are down on him. I think you expect your defensive ends to get sacks. You're just looking at that sack total.
Yeah.
But he's really stout against the run. They move him interior to rush passes on 3rd down.
Lucas Van Ness's PFF grade was 25th this year.
Yeah.
Out of 119 in 310 snaps. But that just shocked me looking at that.
But he only got on the field when
was he injured?
He wasn't a 3-down back.
Not a
rotational.
Right. He was a rotational.
If you're a full-time rotational guy, you'd expect him to get 500 snaps. So I don't know if he was injured or what happened.
Last question, then we'll move on. Matt, would you keep Rashawn Gary as a Bears fan? Would you want the Packers to keep Rashawn Gary for cap space?
I would love the Packers kept Rashawn Gary.
So you want him to move on for? Well, like if you were us.
If I were the Packers, I would get rid of him.
Okay.
Linebacker play is too like you have some UDFA like random linebackers that you can pay $3 million that can put up average seasons in the right scheme.
At edge?
Rashawn. I'm still thinking of
Cooper. Quay
Walker. Sorry. I get them combined. Quay and Gary, for some reason, they have the same name vibe to me.
Quay.
Yeah.
Rashawn Gary, I don't know what the out is, how much you're saving.
What was his rookie deal? They'd have to extend him.
Oh, it's still his rookie deal?
Yeah.
He's been on a second contract.
No, they didn't take Walker's 5th year.
No, he was drafted in 2019.
Okay.
I don't think they took his.
They gave him a big extension.
If he was drafted, I think I'm pretty sure he's expensive. I guess I'd want them to pay him a lot of money to be fine. Is what I would want. Like, I think he's another guy that trended down, same as Quay Walker.
Gary was terrible down the stretch. He might have been hurt. Gary, 4-year, $96 million extension in 2023.
Yeah. All right. Now we're moving on to the Lions.
Did we have someone who claimed Lions?
I have the Detroit Lions. I put in way too much work in them, and I'll probably spend too much time.
Let's put a medium, large amount of time.
Let's hit the main points here.
Detroit Lions, 9-8. Guess where the Lions finished on offense this year per PFF grade?
Like 5th. I know they were very good.
Yeah, I'd say around that like 7 range.
5th.
Oh,
guess where they finished on defense?
19.
Probably pretty booty.
5th.
Oh, really?
That's
3rd in overall grade per PFF.
Well, PFF grades are weird because they are grading the players, and you can have everyone get a good grade on a play where the offense gets a ton of yards. So I don't know how, like...
I'm out. I've always been out on PFF. I understand that it's the best metric we have, but, like, I don't know.
It's hard to give one score to encompass a player because you don't know what the coach is asking them to do or what the scheme wants them to do. But I think as a whole, like, unless you are going to be taking the time to spend hours watching film on a player, you're not going to get better idea of what they are.
And also, if I've played every single defensive snap and I'm dog tired, it's the end of the game, and I get pancaked, that ruins my PFF score.
Yeah, but I think if you're smart enough, you'll see a higher snap PFF score at a 70 is better than a half as many snaps at 74.
Exactly, and so it's not like the score itself doesn't mean that much. There has to be more context.
That's why it's better to look at the starters scores than like guys who play 20% of snaps.
Exactly.
I think that fifth on defense number is actually very accurate because it's an accumulation of all those numbers, and it comes together to form like a pretty good.
But I bet like their EPA per play was not fifth on defense, so that's why I'm wondering. Like somehow they could be gotten more than the players were playing at a level.
I would say that Vegas and the Sharps kind of believe in the Lions, given their like third or fourth in NFC odds going into this year, which you wouldn't think, given that they were 9-8. Probably illustrates how good that the Smarts actually probably think they are.
They had so many close games that they lost,
and a bunch of injuries once again. Jared Goff, 37th in ADOT this past year. Their pass block win rate, 31st in the NFL. Their offensive line took a huge drop off. In 2024, they were 12th in pass rush win rate. Pass block win rate. How much of that is losing Ben Johnson? Probably a lot, but their offensive line certainly took a step back, including Penei Sewell being hurt a lot. So Goff didn't have time to get downfield, no time in the pocket. Goff, we know, struggles under pressure, so they threw the ball short over and over again, weren't able to develop routes downfield very well. 20th in run block win rate. Pass rush win rate, 26th. Run stop win rate, 29th. Their defensive line struggled. Amon-Ra, elite, third in PFF grade. Jameson Williams, solid for them. Tesla, great in the red zone. Jameer, one of the best running backs in the NFL. And Montgomery, solid. Laporta, fifth in PFF grade. Despite bad fantasy numbers, very solid.
Yeah, PFF loves the route runners more than the block. Or like the guys who specialize. Yeah.
Penei Sewell, since being drafted. In 2024, he was second in run blocking, fourth overall in this year. First in run blocking. In this past season, he had the best run blocking grade. Per my research, I did a good amount of research. He had the best run blocking grade in the history of PFF's grading system. At right tackle,
he's just like when he starts moving, you see how big he is, and you see the rate at which his body is changing position on the field, and it's like, how is that blob getting there?
Yeah,
he moves like a tight end at 330. He's unbelievable. I love watching him play. Taylor Decker took a step down from them this year. He was middle of the pack.
He's like 32. I'd be interested to see if they want to replace him as he gets older, if he keeps trending down. If he like mold retirement, I think there was a discussion about that.
Tate Radledge was very good for them as a rookie out of Georgia. He excelled on the second half of the season. Their biggest weakness on the offensive line, Graham Glasgow. He was terrible in the run game, the worst center in the NFL, and it really impaired their ability to hold up on the interior for Goff, who struggles with interior pressure and run up the middle.
They had Glasgow or Ratledge where they're playing at center. Training camp, they put Ratledge at center for a week. They said, nope, you haven't played center before. Let's not do that. So, Frank Ragnow, their all-pro center, retired last year. I think they had a couple dice rolls at center. Neither worked. They have like Mahogany and Glasgow at guard is fine. Ratledge at guard is fine. They don't really have a true center. So we'll see if they want to address that.
All right, Miles, what are the needs we got here?
Backup tight end after Sam Laporta.
Yep.
Offensive tackle depth for the future they need after Taylor Decker. Their swing tackle just retired. Center is their biggest need. They need depth at off-ball linebacker behind Campbell, who had an excellent year this year, breakout year for him.
Alex Anzalone, he's got long hair. He's kind of been an asshole. Like, you just don't like, when you're playing against the Lions, you're like, that guy's just, I don't like him.
I kind of like it. He kind of think he kind of has swag.
No, he has swag, but I hate that. Like, he just always seems like he's messing up plays up. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
And they don't really have the money to pay him. So, yeah, agreed, linebacker is a need.
I need 2 more minutes in the Lions here, then I'm done.
We don't need to be done.
It just feels like you're kind of like listing things, and I want like, what's the conversation about?
Okay. Pass rush win rate this year. First, Myles Garrett, 93.3. Micah Parsons, 92.9. Aiden Hutchinson, 92.2.
Damn.
Ooh. Hutchinson grades as one of the best in the game.
And he had a season-ending injury. I forget what it was, broken ankle or something. To come back from that in 1 year and already compete, he's a baller.
Yeah.
Hutchinson, among the best in the game, like we talked about earlier in the discussion for best, most valuable defensive players in the NFL. Really makes you think about the Jaguars if they had taken him instead of Trayvon Walker a few years back. Hutchinson elite in the run game and the pass game. They do have a need opposite him at edge. A guy mocked to them a lot is Cassius Howell, short arms, but SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Opposite Hutchinson, they had 3 guys who split snaps. In the interior, they've invested a bunch of assets. Aleem McNeil, who they signed last offseason on a 4-year, $97 million deal, finished 90th among defensive tackles.
Coming off a season-ending injury, you hope he can be healthier. I don't know how what the inside story is, but he was a baller when they paid him, so you hope he can come back.
Certainly. Spent a first on Tyleik Williams, and he was solid for them, a really good run defender. And they also spent money, all these resources on defensive tackle. They spent money on DJ Reader last year, who was good for them again this year.
Free agent.
Yeah. So they are $10 million over the cap. Is there anything that they can do to fix that situation right now?
In terms of fixing their situation, I feel like they're pretty locked into their core that they have right now. It feels like they're going to build through the draft. I think they have all the talent there. They just have to be healthy in order to come the next season solid.
It doesn't really seem like they're losing anyone outside of Anzalone.
Yeah, DJ Reader and Roy Lopez those are they have you valuable snaps. I don't know. Avonte Maddox played true safety with them, which allowed Brian Branch, safety, to play nickel corner. He had an 80 as a score, so they're going to need a guy to step up into those shoes. But you're right. All their core guys, I could see them. I agree with Vegas. They could be a top 5 team.
You know what? You know what's so crazy? We talked about the Bengals in the last episode, where they have so many holes. This team is actually effed.
Yep.
And the crazy part is that the NFL is a next man up league, and it's always the players you don't see coming. That's
totally.
Oh my gosh, this guy is a freaking baller. Where the heck did this guy come from? Don't see that happening with the Bengals.
Nope.
But if there was a team that's like a next man up team, it's the Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah.
With Dan Campbell just going to some 6th round pick and being like, "You're the man." I don't care what they're saying about. They're saying a lot of stuff about you, but I don't believe it.
Their whole team feels like the vibe of the soldier who's storming forward and he just keeps getting more arrows into his chest, into his abdomen. Just keeps taking more steps, more belabored. It's just keep going. You keep fighting. Come on.
And they look back at Dan Campbell on top of the hill and they're just like,
yeah, he's holding a flag. He's banging a drum.
You guys remember that guy who helped out Frodo in Lord of the Rings? And there's that orc, the lead orc, is up there with his crossbow and he's shooting arrows. He's taking arrows going,
oh, yeah. Or Mel Gibson in The Patriot, where he's just oh, they're coming. Screw them. I'm going to grab the flag and plant it. Let's go.
They have an elite safety room. Brian Branch, one of the best in the league. Avonte Maddox played a lot of nickel for them this year, finished 8th in PFF grade. And Thomas Harper, a guy you might not have heard of, finished 11th in PFF grade. He's a second-year UDFA. He had more snaps than Maddox this year, who was hurt a lot. They find a great way to get good safety play out of that back end there. And then the guy they just gave a big contract to, who's had a bunch of picks the past few years, Kirby Joseph, they're incredibly strong at safety. Their biggest need on defense is at corner. Amik Robertson, who played the most snaps for them, was terrible this past year. DJ Reed, who they gave a big contract to on free agency from the Jets, had his worst season since his rookie year.
Yeah.
Terrion Arnold, their big first-round pick, has been a bottom 10th percentile corner in his first 2 seasons. And their other second-round draft pick 2 years ago, Ennis Rakestraw, has pretty much yet to play more than 50 snaps a year.
I forgot about Rakestraw. Yeah, I know he didn't play as a rookie. I forgot he existed.
Yeah, I mean, he was a big asset coming into that draft, and so was Arnold, and both have been just nothing.
Yeah, there were discussions in that draft if you would go Terrion Arnold or the Eagles all-pro corner. Can't think of his name. Nope. The starter, Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah.
There was real people started to trend towards Quinyon Mitchell, but Terrion Arnold was in those discussions, so it's crazy to see what happened now.
Yeah, the Mitchell thing was he played for Toledo. Did he play against real And then Arnold played at Alabama. It was proven competition. He's good in man.
The criticism on him was he's a little grabby, could be a problem for him, and it's been if he isn't grabbing, guys are getting past him, and when he is grabbing, he's getting flagged.
And even since Aaron Glenn left, they've been super man-heavy.
Yep.
Campbell kind of insists on keeping their identity. And they had a really good DC this year. It feels like Glenn didn't make that much of a difference.
From my understanding, this guy has been he was selected as the next DC up, and they really, this is our guy. He was identified. So I think if there's a chance where Glenn can be good, and Kelvin Shepard.
Yeah.
And Kelvin Shepard also, maybe he's just,
He's a head coaching candidate, culture guy. Yeah, that's the Lions. I think they're very similar to the Ravens, my other team. I think they have the potential to easily be an 11-win team this year with their easier schedule.
I like the Lions' depth better. They don't have Lamar, but I think up and down the roster, it's fewer needs.
Yeah, just an elite offense that produced without Ben Johnson. I think another year from Ben Johnson, maybe it gets worse. But if they get a guard in the first round, I feel much better about the ability to stick their identity of running the ball.
So it was John Morton last year, but they bring in Cardinals Drew Petzing.
Yep.
That's going to be a shakeup. Like, I could see it working. The Jacoby Brissett offense is probably somewhat analogous to what the Jared Goff offense could be like. But we're kind of starting to see the tail end of this window of like elite young players for the Lions.
Yeah.
So if this Drew Petzing thing doesn't work out, these guys get expensive. It maybe tails off a bit.
Yep. They just gave Hutchinson $40 million plus a year. They've paid Amon-Ra. They gave Goff $50 million plus. They're gonna have to pay Laporta here coming up. Pay Brian Branch.
Ragnow is retired. Maybe Decker might retire soon.
Bill is coming due. They're gonna have to pay Campbell $20 million plus a year.
This was the first year where they didn't get to play a veteran guard. They had to just hopefully our young guys play well, and it was kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
That brings us to the Bears. How about your NFC North? Let's clap it up for the NFC North champs this year.
Best player, best team. They fought, most character.
My God.
Highest adoration.
What a fun story.
It is fun, and the Bears are kind of where I feel like I put them in most of my head. I think they're able to compete in any game. Cardiac Bears, that whole vibe. But if you look at Super Bowl odds for next year, both the Packers and the Lions are ahead of the Bears because I think just top to bottom, their rosters are better.
Yeah.
You know, like we paid for our roster before Ben Johnson even got there, and there was a lot of free agent acquisitions where it's like these guys are fine, but you are paying them at an elite level and they are fine.
Yeah. And so you guys are $5 million over the cap.
Yeah. Like a lot of these moves, like especially last year, we bring in Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, and Joe Tooney, 3 interior offensive linemen that are veterans that you're paying at market level. And you know what? They all played well, and that's the reason we were able to make this offensive turnaround. I think our weighted DVOA on offense was 5th. So like towards the back end of this season is what that is saying. We're starting to actually put out some close to elite offense.
I feel like this was the 10 out of 10 best outcome for the Bears season this year.
Yeah.
If you had went back and looked at it, this is as good as things could possibly gone.
10 out of 10 is tough because their over-under was 8.5. They got 11 wins.
If they had beaten the Rams, it would have been 10 out of 10.
True. I'll admit with that. If they end up somehow closing out that game, for sure.
Just if I had told you a year ago, it's going to be clear that Ben Johnson is one of the best coordinators in the NFL outside of the Detroit system, and it's clear that Caleb has it. He's not a guy who can't throw out of the pocket. He's not a guy who can't succeed in the system. It's clear that he has the talent to be a top
the biggest
guy.
thing that those two things totally I love. Some people thought that the Bears defense could be, maybe the 8th or 12th best defense. They ended up being more like 24th. So like that was just they had enough guys being paid that you thought they could hit this oh man, good on both sides of the ball. They were not good on both sides.
Well, I mean, but didn't you guys have the highest turnover rate?
Yeah. Which is crazy. The fact that we forced that many turnovers and our like actual EPA per play numbers were still kind of bad.
Packers had it last year. It's a lot of variability there.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's super promising is how much your defense elevated in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And how much your DC was able to uplift that unit in huge
I
games.
do think when Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon came back, both of our defensive backs we have on full contracts, that made a difference. So hopefully if those guys can stay healthy, and that's what every team tells themselves. In terms of just that cap space thing, they are -5 right now. I think they're going to cut linebacker Tremaine Edmonds to save $15 million. He's good. He's fine. Is he worth kind of like we had this discussion about Quay Walker? Is he worth the $15 million? Probably not. We had a street linebacker come in, literally not like on someone's practice squad, DeMarco Jackson, and he played just as well, if not better, than Tremaine Edmonds this year. I'd be interested to see can we pay him 5.
Yeah.
Street feels derogatory.
It's just if you're not on a roster, you're on the street. That's how it works in these parts. I think
these parts.
They got a couple.
Which specific parts do you mean?
They got a couple guys. I don't have the list right now. They can do some slight restructuring on. I think they could probably go into the season with 20 to 25 in cap space instead of -5 without anything too crazy. The biggest things going on in the roster are both our starting safeties, Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker, both solid to above average. Byard had a good season, even though he's 31. They're both free agents, so we're going to need 2 safeties. There's no like backups you really love on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Losing a couple corners that played well for you, specifically Nashawn Wright. But I do think between Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson, you're not going to re-sign Nashawn Wright. Those guys are good enough. They had decent enough seasons. Hopefully Jalen Johnson can get healthy. You feel good about your corner room. In terms of that, there's other free agents, not any hugely talented guys beyond the safeties that are leaving the roster. And that's – I'm just going to kind of get to my vibe on the Bears. If they want to improve on what they were last year, it's going to come down to the coaches and the players that are there taking further steps forward. There's not going to be some infusion of free agents or probably some like what we're picked 25 in the draft now. Like we're not getting top 10 guys anymore. The trajectory has changed. So I still think there's a chance we could have a great season, but it's going to come down to Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and those receivers and Colston Loveland and the pretty decent offensive line. Going from like, oh, we're a top 8 offense to like, we are a top 3 offense. Fuck you. That's what the Bears need. And if that doesn't happen, then we're not going to be a contender.
Well, yeah. And the circling back to the whole, the defense wasn't that great, but they had a turnover margin.
Yeah.
When you trust your offense that much, it doesn't matter how much they score. If you give us 3 more chances than they have, I'll take us every day.
It's true. But like for one, in like the Rams game, we didn't force any turnovers. So it's like you can say, oh, well, we're a turnover-based defense. Is that going to happen in the playoffs? Did we turn over the Packers in the – I don't know if we did in that playoff game.
Kevin Byard, first-team All-Pro.
Yeah. He didn't. He probably didn't deserve it. He's just – his body isn't as quick as the better safeties.
9 picks, right?
But I want to say 7. He led the league, but it was also among the best guy who has the most picks. It was a down year in the NFL. Usually it's more than 7. In terms of, I'd like to re-sign him. I think we could maybe pay him like 8, considering he's a 32-year-old safety. But you can't fill every hole in free agency. I think give him another year.
Side note, if you ever hear from an evaluator that the top prospect for a back 7 player is that they're a ball hawk, there should be a red flag that goes up in your head. I totally believe that. There should be immediately a red flag.
Nose for the ball?
Ball hawk.
Oh, man. So I was hearing someone talk about this. Like if same thing, if someone's like getting evaluated as a prospect and they are a ball magnet, that doesn't tell you that much. That just means that they are always in the right spot.
Yeah, quarterback is making a mistake.
Or they just got lucky 4 times in a year.
Yeah. But I forget what the other one was. It might have been ball hawk or like something like one of them is describing someone that is making plays for turnovers. The other one, it's just like, okay, you had 6 picks, but were they all tipped?
Right place, right time.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's also crazy to think that just chance can get you drafted into the NFL.
Yeah. Well, to get back to Kevin Byard, he's led the league in interceptions before.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he's a student of the game.
Yeah.
He does all of his own independent research on how the offense works. Like against the Raiders this year, he had 2 picks, both times where he, as a safety, tries to convince Geno Smith he's going to do one thing to cover one route because he knows it's going to make Geno throw a second route, and then he actually bites in the second route. So there's you can have that skill, but it's hard to evaluate for prospects.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Forbes had like 8 picks in his last draft eligible season. He was 5'9", like 165, and they're like ball hawk, playmaker.
Ron Rivera just got so pumped.
And like 4 of his picks that season were just wide open, like ball fell into his hand, didn't do any real scouting.
It is.
Matt, if I had told you going into last year's draft, after the draft, that you would take Colston Loveland at 9, and it would end up looking like maybe the best pick in the draft, and that you would take Luther Burden in the second round, it would also look like a very smart pick. That would have been an abject, like, huge win. How do you feel coming out of that draft? Do you feel like that Poles is making the right decision? It seems like those are both hits.
Yeah, Ozzie Trapillo, he was our left tackle, 2 picks after Anthony Belton.
Solid.
They had him as like, he played well. I liked watching him play. PFF had him like a top 25 tackle.
And second round tackles like never pan out the rookie year.
It's
only first round tackles.
So yeah, our rookie class was fantastic. We had a second round defensive lineman that got toward his ACL. He was hit or miss. We needed those guys. Burden had a big game, a couple big games towards the end of the season. Loveland, I think Loveland has a path to becoming a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
If he stays healthy. I mean, you could say that about a lot. Like, you could say that about Tyler Warren and Brock Bowers, and it's not saying could means a lot of things, but he just looks different out there.
Yeah.
I just think it's awesome to shoot your shot in a tight end at 9 and end up actually paying off dividends above what it could have been.
Yeah. So, Matt, as someone that has loved the Bears forever, and you just had a great season, is there anything that you would do to shake it up?
Shake up the roster?
Yeah, just any hot takes. Anything that you think.
I mean, I'm going to spit something out there. It's not a hot take, but I feel it passionately. Some people, there are naysayers. DJ Moore, if you can find a way to levy this market and find some people who desire his talents, teams that have a lot of cap space and no veteran wide receiver talent, the Bears need to clear up some cap space. It's like $18 million if you can trade him. Maybe get a 4th or 5th round pick because it is an expensive contract. We have Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. I think DJ Moore is getting older, and the number one thing is his effort is waning.
I hate DJ Moore.
We already talked about the missile and a butt. So.
Oh, yeah.
I hate DJ Moore.
True.
More than just about any player in the NFL.
And I watched back some of his highlights from previous years, and I do think he has 3 kids. He's got a lot of money. I think his effort and who he views himself has changed.
Yeah.
And he's not that elite player or like really above average player he used to be.
Having 3 kids and your effort dropping is what does that mean?
The thing is, it's like I'll echo Matt's sentiment.
You didn't have any money. You had no money. You didn't know what you're going to be in this world. You're trying to prove yourself, and then you make it, and you play on terrible teams for 10 years straight. You don't feel defined by winning. You just feel defined by who knows what. You become a dad. Your identity as a football player goes away, and it's hard to compete in the NFL, so you just aren't quite at that same level anymore.
I would like to say that I brought that take up a couple episodes ago, and I was scrutinized for it.
For being a dad?
That was no, not for being a dad. that his play experiences on his past teams made him who he is. So it makes sense why he has the motivation he does.
Shouldn't all of that, having 3 kids playing on terrible teams, shouldn't that all just like ideally build you up to this big moment where you're finally in this moment against the Rams in the playoffs?
It depends on who you are, what motivates you in the first place.
That's my point. It's who he is.
Well, maybe his dream died.
And his dreams right fucking there in front of him.
But maybe I'm saying, like, what if
maybe
he really loves his family?
It? Maybe he reevaluated his dream. He's like, well, how much do I really care about winning?
Then that tells you about who he is as a player.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, I think it does. And I think both things can be true.
He frustrates me as a Bears fan, but I haven't lost any respect for him as a person.
I think we're working towards the same point here: is that DJ Moore should be arrested. He should be deported by ICE.
Yeah, no, I think
DJ Moore should retire into the sunset, go to Cabo. Get some Mai Tais.
He might be 29 next year. The thing you see all around social media if you're a Bears fan is, should the Bears trade DJ Moore as a package to get Max Crosby?
Okay.
Which,
good luck.
Figuring out the cap, it's not impossible. I just want to say that it's not impossible. I would be weary of it. You'd have to give up at least a first and maybe like a second or a third and DJ Moore and some other things to make it all work.
Yeah, the Bears should definitely not do that.
Really? I would love that move.
No, I would hate that move.
Why?
Oh, because you don't want us to have Max Crosby.
Because I don't want Zach Tom to go up against Max Crosby.
Okay, fair.
I think because the Bears aren't like the Packers in the way that they have a ton of rookie players all on great contracts. Like, we have a lot of decently expensive players that aren't that good. So getting another older player that's expensive and getting rid of your picks, I don't know how well that works. I could see it being open. So yeah, trading DJ Moore I might like. Offensive line, Ozzie Trapillo tore his patellar tendon, which traditionally that means you're done. Like, it's a terrible injury for an offensive lineman.
Just like Slater.
But
that
just
sucks.
Recently, Josh Simmons only took him about a year to go back to close to full health, whatever he was this past year.
He was good.
So if the surgery tactics can change and we can get Trapillo back by the end of the season, we're going to need a stopgap left tackle for a lot of the year. But hopefully he can keep going. I think a lot of what you'd hope to maybe change or draft for the Bears is going to be on defense. I think anyone on D-line, we're looking at pick 25. There's a lot of guys that could fall in that range. Any of the D tackles, Peter Woods, Caleb Banks, Caden McDonald, I'd love there. We don't really have any standout D tackles.
I think there's going to be a ton of interior.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much D-line.
Yeah.
Any of those three guys, I could see Lee Hunter.
There's going to be a guy there for you.
Yeah,
it's a good draft for your guys' needs.
Totally. Around pick
good draft for your
25.
You need like a stuffer in the interior who can stuff run gaps and establish like a base on the D-line.
And I could see defensive end, T.J. Parker, Zion Young,
Akis from Illinois.
Yeah, he might at that point. It might be a little high
Second round.
but I like how the draft lines up for our needs. But we're gonna need D linemen. If we do cut Tremaine, we're gonna need a second linebacker to play with T.J. Edwards. Cornerback, I like, and then safety. Probably draft one, I might assume later.
Yeah,
and then maybe bring back Kevin Byard, like I said. So not a lot of space. We're gonna have to use the little margins to make some moves.
Yeah.
It's going to be largely the same roster, and we just got to get better.
Yeah, I mean, the one caveat I want to put into this is we talk a lot about, they can draft and fill that need. Every single year, things get shaken up in the free agency market. I feel like most teams try to fill a lot of their gaps in the free agency
sometimes
market.
with like $3 million,
yeah.
When you have a full, you can't. I don't want the Bears to go all in to fill every need now because we don't have the money to do it.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of the NFL with the cap, the salary cap, is that it's not a perfect world. You can't just buy everyone. You're not the Yankees. You can't just buy the best players and win.
Agreed.
What teams had a better offseason than the Chicago Bears in 2025?
Zero. I wouldn't say a single team did.
Joe Tooney, pass protector of the year. Drew Dahlman, great in the interior.
Pro Bowl.
Loveland, Burden. Montez Sweat. Was Sweat already there?
No, he was there. But the right guard, Jonah Jackson, was new. Left tackle, Ozzie Trapillo was new.
I mean,
you say Ben Johnson?
Yeah, true.
Number one.
Literally.
Dennis Allen.
Crazy.
I think you could put the other teams that popped up, like the Seahawks and the Patriots. They're probably in that discussion.
But especially the Patriots. What did they do in the
Patriots added like
though?
10 free agents that all played a part of the
and then played the easiest schedule in the NFL.
They beat playoff teams.
Facts.
Yep. I'd still put the Bears there. The turnaround was just insane.
Yep.
New man on the Minnesota Vikings.
Big Lizzo. Miles Stotts confirmed Lizzo fan.
Miles Stotts and Lizzo I may have seen it with my own eyes.
New man on the Football Frauds podcast.
Heck yeah. Tune in next week. We're going to have Lizzo on. So the Vikings. If you're a Vikings fan and you're listening to this, I'm actually sorry for you. This is actually kind of depressing when we research this. It's not looking too great in any department.
It's not us. It's you.
And so when we say things, just know, I hope you are feeling the same way. We don't want to come off like we hate the Vikings because we're Packers and Bears fans. Even though it's like we don't necessarily want you to win, but we don't hope it to be this bad. So you guys are $43 million over the cap.
Yikes.
Womp, womp, womp. Literally. There are some things that you guys can do to fix that situation, but it's a lot of mumbo jumbo going on. And all of it is thanks to old GM, Kwesi.
Yeah.
He was relieved of his duties. Rob Brezenson.
Did they pick a GM?
He becomes the interim lead executive.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Matt Thompson was added as a consultant that focuses more on the cap and scouting. So hopefully that guy can work some magic. Maybe he has some voodoo that he can lean into to make this happen for you. But pulling from our Vikings insiders that we have, not going to name any names. We like to keep our sources under wraps, but just know he's pretty close.
We're not naming names.
We're not naming names.
Was this a request by said source?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He said honestly, he could be in kind of deep doo-doo.
This is a really well-informed insider. You guys, this is crucial information we're going to give you here.
God, I love you so much.
Oh my God, why'd you say his name? Essentially, he kind of talked about how, when we had our talk, he was talking about how Kwesi was a disaster, from everything from his drafts to his QB decisions. And the all-in move last year is something that he will never get over. And the worst part about it is that you guys have Justin Jefferson, Last year, you could have made the argument that he was number one. It was him and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Pretty entrenched kind of a fact.
And he said it was almost criminal to waste his prime.
As a fan, that's got to hurt. I agree.
Yeah. And leading into that, they have a just egregious quarterback situation. I don't know how I would feel if I was a Vikings fan when you have Sam Darnold, who, he exceeded all expectations.
Totally.
When he was there. And then all of a sudden, you guys were like, nope, we like J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, it seemed like if Kwesi was the one calling the shots, it seemed like he loved the idea of J.J. McCarthy, of the rookie quarterback, of the way he could manipulate the cap. And ideas don't play football,
Mm-hmm. It's just really hard as the GM to look yourself in the mirror and trust your own process of evaluation when you have who's considered to be one of the best QB developers in the NFL, Kevin O'Connell. Spend a first trade up, spend a top 15 pick on J.J. McCarthy, get to the next offseason, have Darnold fall apart in the last 2 games of the playoffs.
Yes.
And then have the nuts to keep Darnold and then sit your top 15 pick.
I think those games could have changed everything. He blew up.
Yeah.
He blew up.
Well, we're a year later than that. They tried it.
Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold.
He tried it. Sam Darnold, he proved. He proved that, he's not some guy that isn't Sam Darnold. He's not a crazy quarterback, but he's good enough.
Yeah.
He's good enough. You can build around him.
You're all right, Sam.
But heading back to the Vikings, they had a pretty doo-doo situation at quarterback. What was it? It was probably week 9, 10, and the stat came out that out of every single quarterback, what was it, in QBR or something like that?
Could be.
That has ever been evaluated for that stat, he was second worst. He was 5,061 out of 5,062.
I think it was
crazy.
among quarterbacks who've had 5 starts. His first 5 starts worked so god
just egregiously bad.
And then the only guy who was worse was Max Brosmer.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yep. But here's a direct quote from our Vikings insider. He says, "I'm completely out on JJ, as is most of the fan base. I don't care about any of the excuses being made for his situation. He doesn't get it. His antics are ridiculous and are not what a serious NFL QB does."
9.
To quote Draymond Green, "Insecurity is often loud."
Boom.
Coming from Draymond Green, that's rich.
And that's not coming from a Packers fan or a Bears fan. That's someone right in the Vikings organization.
His blood is purple. He loves them.
Yeah, honestly.
But I get it. They were at such highs in 2024, and it feels like last season was bad, and their future is just not nearly as bright.
And so I want to pose something to you guys. If you were the Minnesota Vikings in this situation, you spent a first-round draft pick on J.J. McCarthy, didn't pan out. You already cleaned house. You said, the guy that made this decision sucks. We are getting him out of here, and we're going to figure it out. J.J. McCarthy's still in-house. How do you fix it?
I honestly think that if the Vikings were in the NFC South, you'd feel sick about this upcoming season.
Totally.
If you're in the NFC South, you would just feel super confident, we're going to win the division. There's nothing else going on here.
Get a home playoff game.
Aaron Rodgers, to me, is just the kind of clear and obvious answer staring you in the face. He was interested in working with O'Connell last offseason. They just need a guy who can distribute and sit in the pocket and do anything and just be somewhat competent. He makes perfect sense as a guy who can play there for 1 year. We know for a fact he wants to be there. And he can get the ball to Justin Jefferson and Addison. There's no question of that. They don't need a multi-year stopgap. They don't need an answer quarterback. They don't need Malik Willis or Mac Jones. They need to spend a lot. They need Aaron Rodgers for $15 million a year.
Not even.
Yeah, I think it was 10 or 8 last year.
Even if it's Jacoby Brissett, which I don't like as much, you can't go into next year, given how presently loaded this roster is on defense and how many assets they have on defense that are meant to win now. You can't go into next year just saying, we're going to ride out McCarthy. I have full confidence they're not going to do that now that Kwesi's gone. There's no investment in the current front office in McCarthy, and I think that from the start, I'm guessing that O'Connell in training camp of his first year was like, oh, fuck. We fucked this one up. And he's
I don't think he was saying we. I think he was looking right at one singular person.
He definitely
saying, you fucked this up.
He was definitely in that draft from being like, yeah, I can make this guy work. There's no way they did it unless he doesn't say that.
Yeah, I 100, especially because they traded up to get him.
Right.
Yep. So it can't just be Kwesi being like, you're gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I know you got this.
To me, the instant stopgap answer is Rodgers. Matt, what are you thinking?
I've heard some crazy names thrown out there. Rodgers for sure. Derek Carr, flirting with unretiring.
I like that.
Get him for a couple million. Kirk Cousins, he has no home. How little can you pay him? Does he want to come back? Because I think ultimately you don't want to cancel out the idea of JJ ever playing again. And you don't want to go expensive either. So I think some of these weird. Another one that I like, nerd quarterback, backup for the Eagles, Tanner McKee. He has 1 year left on his rookie deal. He's looked good in some select spots. Can you trade a 5th-round pick for him and have some shot at upside still while still doing a low asset for the spot?
The thing is, like, when I look at the roster, I'm like, okay, well, next year's QB class is good. Maybe you tank. But it's like their roster is so good, you can't.
Too many good players.
I think Inkel's 33. Both defensive tackles they just paid are at the end of their deals. They're already not that good.
They'll get cut soon.
Well, so the thing is that they're $40 million over, and before free agency happens, they're going to have to do something about it.
Yep.
And the only real money moves that they can do is they can restructure Justin Jefferson's contract, Christian Darrisaw's contract, Jonathan Grenard's contract.
And I think they're going to have to. Those guys are talented. You don't mind having them for a couple more years.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do those things.
That's not it. Byron Murphy's contract and Will Fry's contract, and even at that, you're still sitting at $5 to $10 million.
You're probably cutting Aaron Jones. I don't think he's worth $8 million.
He was terrible last year per PFF grade.
He's getting 1 year older. I don't think he's tough enough to make it through an NFL season anymore. You get the $8 million back from that, and then you want Ryan Kelly to keep playing because he's a great player, but he's had concussion issues. He's getting older.
Yeah.
He might retire, or you cut him. That's another $8 million. So they'll make it work, but it's not going to be pretty.
If you're the Vikings, you're sitting here in the draft hoping and praying that somehow Jeremiah Love falls to you at 18. I don't think that's out of the question. Every time I do a mock, there's 5 to 6 teams that could take Love, but all of them have other needs beside running back, and it's always going to be kind of rich to take a running back that high. I think there's a 5 to 10% chance that could happen.
Yeah, but I've also seen some buzz that there's packages you can put together to get Breece Hall. There are things you can do.
Yeah, but they can't pay a free agent. They can't pay a free agent, and honestly, they can't really pay a first-round running back either. I mean,
I don't even know what you do.
The contract goes down by the time you're at
But
pick
so
18.
all this to say, if you need another quarterback that isn't just totally butt cheeks, and you're out on JJ McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers might be your only option.
And you got Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, and Tanner McKee. What the fuck?
Kirk Cousins is going to be 4 times more expensive than Aaron Rodgers is.
I don't think Kirk Cousins is getting more than $10 million on the market.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a contract right now?
No, he's cut. He got cut.
Yeah.
But he's still getting? I guess isn't he still getting paid
by the Falcons? Yeah, but
there's no offset.
Yeah, no,
there's no offset or
it's
anything.
Not like they have to. I'd still have Aaron Rodgers over Kirk Cousins.
I don't know. Rodgers can't. Oh my god! It's like 37 versus 44 or 43.
Yeah, I would take Rodgers in a landslide. Me personally.
I don't think Rodgers can move at all.
You think Kirk Cousins can move?
Yeah.
That is
enough.
Really?
Rodgers is a corpse.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Rodgers.
How many? Were you guys watching Steelers games? He literally could not move an inch.
Did you watch the Falcons games this year?
Yeah, Kirk Cousins looked respectable.
You think he can move?
It was 2024 compared to his 2025. Like his Achilles was on his plant foot compared to Rodgers was not. He really was bad in 2024. A whole nother year, he was playing just as well as Penix.
All right, I'm gonna hop back on the Rodgers Glaze train. I think the Vikings are 4 wins better with Aaron Rodgers than they are with Kirk Cousins.
That is there's almost no quarterback difference. That's like Patrick Mahomes versus
Chris Aludicon. That's like 10, but
maybe 6.
Gardner Minshew.
I think
what is 30? Aaron Rodgers is dead. Like The Aaron Rodgers you know and love, like watch the Steelers games. He's not there anymore. I think Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 all-time quarterback, even if he doesn't have all the Super Bowls. But he's not what he was anymore.
I'm not saying he is what he was. What I'm saying is the Vikings have a system that's set up for a quarterback.
Rodgers doesn't
that
play a
can
system.
make
He just
good
wanks
decisions.
his own little wiener and throws it to wherever he wants.
I do think
you know, he can choose wherever he wants because they got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison.
But you need but Kevin O'Connell has a system that is supposed to raise whatever you have.
That you need a mobile quarterback.
I do think Matt makes a great point with Cousins being the second year off the Achilles. I thought Cousins had no mobility last year. It's me personally, but it is the second year off the Achilles. It makes a big difference to me when I think about it more. I don't think it's 4 wins. I think it's more like 1 or 2. When you put it that way, Cousins' second year off the Achilles, he'll probably be serviceable. He knows the system. He knows O'Connell. I could see that working, or at least being serviceable. But I think the main point here is that their Super Bowl window just kind of came and left with Sam Darnold, and there's probably really no way to redeem this because you need top 15 quarterback play to win a Super Bowl.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that if anything happens next year, something crazy has to happen this offseason for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, it just sucks, man, because they are literally just that Darnold move away from being right where the Seahawks were. They don't have the Seahawks talent, but with Flores, they're really right in that range.
Yeah. It sucks.
Shouts, Kyle. We love you. I want to hang out with you more.
Yeah, we should do it.
It'll be 38 versus 43 years old. That's the...
Screw age.
Screw age.
Screw age.
Age has been the come true for every single quarterback except for Tom Brady across all time. You get into your 40s, you're dead.
You know what? People say that running backs start to die at 26. Broncos drafted R.J. Harvey at 25.
No, that's the peak of their careers, 26. They fall off at 30 is usually the number. There are exceptions to every rule. No, there's very few quarterbacks. 43
Guess what?
season.
Aaron Rodgers is the exception to the rule.
No.
Well, we'll leave you with that one.
Football frauds. I want to hear your comments down below. What do you think? Kirk Cousins at age 38, 39, or Aaron Rodgers at 43? What do you got for us?
Listen, guys, discourse, disagreement, it's healthy. We work through conflict. We're getting better at it. We're becoming friends more as we work through these things that are conflict, and it's part of us growing as a podcast. I appreciate it. We're going to keep getting better, even through conflict like this. I actually think it makes us better every time we get in these arguments.
And if you have someone in your life that you want to disagree with, but you just aren't comfortable with them enough to disagree, leave a comment, like, and subscribe.
It could be your mother or your school teacher.
It could be your dog. It could be your neighbor.
Football frauds out.